Hi everyone, it's Gwen from Rustic Diva Design, and I'm here today with part 2 of the tutorial for the 6x6 baby mini album using the Hinge for the pages. Yesterday we went through and did the front cover, the inside of the front cover, and we got to page 4. So we're starting with page 5 today. And I didn't mean to get this far into the project. I had to stop the video because I lost my magnet set that I needed for this page. So I had to run and find my magnet, and I found it. So back to the tutorial. So I got a little ahead while I was trying to teach and then had to stop because I don't know how to edit. So back to the project. So this is starting with page 5. And just a rundown, we need a piece of solid cardstock for the page that measures 6 by 5.5, and you're going to score a 1/2 inch on the 6 with the 6 at the top, 6 inches at the top. So you make your 5.5 by 5.5 size page. And again, this is our hinge that is going to glue to the spine. Along with that, on page 5, I'll show you what we're making. Again, so in the little girl mini album, this is the page that we're working on with just a mat and then a cut apart with on the flap here. So this is what we're constructing at the moment. So the cardstock for the flap is 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. And then again, I already scored it and glued it. So you're going to score a 1/2 inch on the side so that you have the fold and the flap to glue onto your page. So we're just gluing, and then I miter. I cut the edges just a little bit to miter. Can you see? This is so dark, this paper. Miter the corners before you glue it down, and then I have the X's here where the magnets have to go before we put our pattern paper down. So there's the flap. Here is the dimensions of the mats. The white mat for the flap is 3 1/8 by 4 1/8, and then I used a 3 by 4 cut apart. If you're not using a cut apart, your mat, obviously your pattern paper is going to be 3 by 4. And then I attached the tab already that I showed some of that in part 1, how to do that. So I already did that part. So we're on to the inside now where the magnets have to go. And so now that I found them, we can carry on. You know where I found it? It was stuck to the cover of the album. I brought all the stuff down where I do my videos, you know, and I had everything in a nice little stack, and the magnet, when I had the cover on the table before, stuck to the cover because there's magnets in there too. That's where it was hiding. Okay, so we're just putting a magnet down here. About right there looks good where the X is, and just pushing that down, peeling off this side. And then folding that over and just giving it a good press. And there it's stuck. And then again, with the score tape on the magnets like I did in the first tutorial. And for the second one. And guess who has just arrived in my video area? If you watched the first tutorial, guess who it is? My dog is here again. So he's come to keep me company. He'll probably be jingling around with his collar like normal, but that's okay. He doesn't bother anything. Okay, so we have our magnets down. It doesn't matter which mat you put down first, but so let's just do this one since I have it. So the mat for the inside of the page, the white mat is 5 3/8 by 5 3/8, and the pattern paper is 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. And again, I mentioned I already used distress ink, Tim Holtz ink around the edges, and I used black soot on mine. And I tried to put a bunch of things together again before doing the video so that it saves time. I didn't realize that the first tutorial, part 1, it got really long. I was like, oh man, I've never done a video like that before, so it takes so long. Oofda. So now we're just matting our page. And I'm going just kind of centering it in the page, but then watching the fold for your flap also, so that it's not hindering that. And there we have it. Oh, we have some glue. This new glue. I got a new fresh glue bottle, and it is coming out. Don't have to shake it like I did yesterday. Sorry for the wiggly table. I always say that. This isn't my normal craft area. I usually craft in my dining room, which is right next to my kitchen. It's very handy for me. Okay, so the mat for the back of the flap, again, is the same for the front. So it's a piece of white mat at 3 1/8 by 4 1/8, and then 3 by 4 pattern paper. And just I love working with the baby papers and patterns. They're so cute and so vibrant. I love these little onesies on this paper that I'm using today. Super cute. Okay, so just burnishing that down so it's good and stuck, and there we have your page 5, just like that. So then page 6 just flips over, and here's our hinge. Now page 6 has a lot of components, so hang on just a second. Let me grab everything that goes with page 6. And I'll show you what it looks like. So here is page 6. It has 2 flaps with the magnet closure, which I used a, I can never think of these, the chipboard piece from the collection that the magnet is attaching to. So I'm going to show you how I do that. So we have inside and outside to decorate, and I'm going to show you how this all goes together. If you watched my walkthrough video though, I mentioned that when I made this album the next time, I was going to cut these flaps just a little bit narrower, because when I folded the page to attach the hinge to the spine, there was a little bit of paper here, bulk, getting in the way of my hinge. So I did cut these down just a smidgen for this album here that I'm showing you. So we are going to start with, let's just get all of this stuff here and remember what goes where. Okay, so we're going to have a flap at the top. and a flap at the bottom. Never mind that right now, or that. So it's going to go overlap like this. So here's the dimensions for your flaps. The first one, I'm doing the small one at the top, is a piece of solid cardstock that measures 3 by 5 3/8. And then you're gonna make a score mark. You know, you can turn it this way in your scoreboard at a 1/2 inch, but make sure your score mark is at the top of your flap. And then the bottom flap measures, I'm getting there, 4 3/4 by 5 3/8. And again, you're scoring a 1/2 inch so that your score mark is at the bottom. Okay, so we're going to attach the bottom flap first. Let's see, magnet, see this X? That is this way, so I don't forget. I don't want to forget. Okay, so just burnishing that score mark. This is going to take, this is like the page with the most construction, I believe. I'm just mitering these corners. So we're going to attach this flap. Now because we have that little bit of extra room here, right here, can you see it? Look at this. Between our hinge and this flap, I'm going to move these flaps just a little bit. You know, you have enough room, I guess, to center them on the page. Yeah, we'll probably do that. Hope it works this time. So let's get that glued to the bottom. And if you want to turn your page, just make sure that your orientation is the right way. I am going to, yes, I am in frame this time. Just going to center and between that score mark and the edge of the page as best as I can. And then I'm getting just right to the bottom of the page here. Okay. So now I have that little bit of room for when I have to fold the page to attach it to the album spine. Okay, so there's that flap. Now we'll do the top one. Folding on our score line. Mitering the corners. And then you can use your bottom flap as a guide to when you're lining it up so everything matches like straight. So the flaps are straight. If I'm forgetting some directions, you guys let me know in the comments, because sometimes I just get talking and gluing and whew, I forget. Okay, where are we in the camera? Oh, I can move it down so I can see. Okay, so, ooh, is my head in your way? Again, I'm sorry. So I am just moving this around, looking to see that it's matching both edges, and then looking at the top. Yep. Check the top. And that looks pretty good, so we can glue that down. And there's our top flap. Now, the decorating part, if you could do, you know, you could start with this and then you could do the inside. Let's do the inside and just get all of that done because there are no magnets on the inside. So we're gonna do that first. So I have to remember now what goes where. Okay, so this is gonna be our inside mat for our page. Okay, and so I just have to find my inside white mat, 5 3/8 by 5 3/8. And then the pattern paper is 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. So we can just glue that in here like so right now. Yesterday I was complaining because my glue didn't come out fast enough, and now I'm complaining because it's coming out too fast. Ooh, can't win. Okay. Now just centering that in here. Leaving room, you know, for all of your folds. Move this up a touch so that doesn't hinder there, and it looks good on the side. Okay, then we have, to make sure that I'm doing it right. Okay, so we're gonna have this paper for the bottom and the top. So the top and bottom are gonna be the same. So this flap, the large flap on the bottom. Nope. Yes. The white mat is 5 1/4 by 4 1/8. And the pattern paper is 5 1/8 by 4. Should I just measure it? Because I have so many things written down. We have 5 1/4 by 4 1/8, and then the pattern paper is 5 1/8 by 4. Okay, so let's glue it. We have to use like a lot of fingers when we're working with flaps that are attached and such. Just straightening that on here. That looks pretty good. And then the top. Okay, the white mat for this top flap is 2 3/8 by 5 1/4, and the pattern paper is 2 1/4 by 5 1/8. Holding this down, making sure you can see. And just glue that down. Got a little giving it a little extra burnish on the side here. Okay, so the inside is matted, and now we need magnets, and this is where it gets tricky, but first we can mat the outside of the top flap, okay? Because the magnet is gonna go on the chipboard piece that we're going to use, and you can use whatever, if you want to use a chipboard piece, you could even make, use one of the stickers, double mat it to use that as a closure, either way, so there's lots of options. So let's get this mat on, and this is the same dimensions that I just gave you, 2 3/8 by 5 1/4, and the pattern paper is 2 1/4 by 5 1/8. Okay. So trying to hold this down and glue at the same time. Tricky. Whoop, there we go. There's that glue. Okay, so for the closure, I chose a piece of chipboard from the collection. This is the one I'm going to use. And so the chipboard is going to go, you're going to place it wherever you feel, you know, if you wanted half here, half on the other flap, or down just a little. You can put it wherever you want, you know, center it in the middle of your flap this way. But whatever looks good. So depending on where you're putting that, that's where your magnet is going to go. Also, so we have to be mindful of where the placement of the magnet is. So I think I'm going to do, I don't know, something like that. So I want, because, and another thing, you want your magnet on your chipboard piece far enough so that when you cover it with pattern paper, you have enough room for your magnet to give a little under that paper. So that's why we figure this out right before we start putting things down. And again, these backings on this magnet, you think I'd learn like a trick. Somebody's gonna give me a trick. Okay, so making sure that my chipboard piece is facing the right direction, and I'm gonna put this magnet like right about here. And that'll give enough room for the paper that I'm gonna use to cover it. So I'm gonna push it down. Now here's the fun part. You get to choose where this magnet goes. The only thing is you are fighting with the magnet underneath on the with the other one, but it's not much of a pull. So you'll be able to finagle, is that a good word? How you want this. So after I decide how I want this to go, Does that look good? What do you think, you guys? Does that look good? Right about there. So let's peel off. Oh, maybe. No wonder the videos take so long. Too many magnets. Trying to get the backing off. Okay. So I'm just eyeballing, you know, centering, trying to, on my page, and then figuring out where I want that magnet to go, plus leaving enough room for the paper. I have to go like about here. Does that look good? Yep, it's gonna. And then press that down really well. And then we're gonna take this off. And we're gonna cover our magnet with score tape. And I'm gonna do it on the chipboard piece too. Either way, either way. Now, so that you don't have an ugly back when you open this, because when you flip this open, you're gonna see the magnet. So I'm gonna cover mine with a piece of pattern paper. I'm not giving you any measurements because I don't know what chipboard piece you're gonna use, or whatever you're using for a closure. So I just cut out the piece for the backing for this chipboard. I just used my scissors, and as you can see, I got a little off. You can turn it around, see what's gonna look the best. And I might just do the other way. Okay, we're just gonna do it. So we want the backing off of our score tape. And then we're gonna glue this down. This is tricky usually because it's all the same size as your chipboard. So, ooh, here we go. And before I press it down really well, I'm just using my fingers to get to the edge. There's a little bit of the edge showing there. That's okay. Is that what we say? It's okay. It's a tiny smidge. Oh, it's handmade. Give me a break, right? Okay. So there, that turned out okay. So then let's just burnish that down really well around the magnet, getting this edge in here glued really well. And I'm not really burnishing on top of the magnet because I don't want the paper to tear. And just getting that glue to the edge. Okay, so now here's your flap and here's your magnet. That's how it's gonna go. So now we can mat this part, the outside flap. This is the large flap. So let me get to that again. The white mat is 5 1/4 by 4 1/8, and the pattern paper is 5 1/8 by 4. Same as the inside. trying to be smarter than my glue bottle, can you tell? Okay, and then just lining that up. Pressing it down and not pushing hard on that magnet. Yeah, look at that. Okay, here's how you do this. It's so easy. So now that you have your magnet, you know exactly where your closure is going to go on your page and know where to glue it. It's easy. So when you put your glue on, your magnet is going to be your guide, and then of course you're going to be mindful of how far down it goes on your page. So not to glue all over the place. So let me just get this like that, and you can see, so I am letting the magnet do the work right now, and all I need to do is just look and maybe just straighten it out a little bit. And once you do that, press it down. And then carefully make sure I didn't get glue on this side. Looks pretty good, I think. What do you think? That's how that works. Okay, so now we have our closure, and our flaps are matted on inside and the outside, and you have your nice page for some photo area. And there we go, page 5 and 6. On to page 7, which is going to be another page with the side pocket that we're going to create out of, side pocket with, we create using just the one sheet of paper. So I'll give you those dimensions right now. I'm just grabbing all of my things that I need on my scoreboard so I can show you. So we're doing this side first. And I have another magnet, and I found it. So let's get that baby over here. Okay, so this is page 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Page 7 of your book. So the dimensions for your solid cardstock are 5.5 by 8. And with the 8-inch side at the top, you're going to score at 1/2. Oop, there it went. 1/2. And at 6. And this is what makes our pocket. Okay. Move this. And I am scoring, I am folding on the score line for the hinge first. And these are easy pages to do because you're just making your hinge and then you're folding this side up to make your pocket. And I did this in part 1 with another page. And I don't know if I have another one coming up or not. I'm not sure. I don't remember. Okay, so this is going to be your pocket. So we want to mat our page first. And again, I used a 4x4 cut apart as my mat, and then just an extra sheet from the paper collection just to mat the whole page. I like to use the 4x4 cut aparts as mats because I had some extra, so why not use them? So I made these into my mat. So the white mat is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, And then if you're only going to do just a solid piece of patterned paper, the entire measurement would be 4 by 5 1/4. 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, and this is going to get glued just like this. And I'm just going to push this down a little bit so it's out of our way. Uh-oh, now look what I did. Forgot to put the pin in, and then look what happens. Things start to go wrong. Of course, but we can fix it. Okay, making sure I have that the right way. And we're back in business. Put the pin in. I always think that takes so much time. Okay, so we're just matting this. Like so. I don't know. Oh, do I have glue? I don't. I don't have any glue running out this time. Okay, and then this is going to be our pocket, and that folds. That's why I said earlier in the other video that these 4x4 cut-aparts work so nice as mats when you're making this pocket on the side, because the pocket is only 2 inches. Oh, is it less than 2? Nope, it's 2 inches. And then these 4x4 cut-aparts just work so nice just as a mat, and you can see them and they still stick out nice. So we can glue, let's glue this first, and then we can mat our pocket. So we're just gluing on the 2 ends to close this up. And then all the glue is going to come squirting out, isn't it? Yeah. Sorry for the noise. That was loud. So just pushing that down and getting the glue out or from the edge. And then again, use your fingers, the squeeze. Squeeze it good to get that glue in between that extra paper from your mat. Okay, and then we can mat our pocket. And the matting for the pocket is, the white mat is 1 7/8 by 5 3/8, and the pattern paper is 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. And I'm just gonna turn that so I can see. There we go. Page 7, all done. Page 8 is just the opposite side of page 7. And that is, let's see, that was page 7. Page 8. We have a flap with a magnet and the tab, and a pocket and a mat for the page. So that's page 8. So we need a few things, but before you mat, we're going to put our flap down first. Okay? And I have to remember what I'm using where. Oh yeah, because this has the tab. Okay, so the flap measures 4 1/2 by 5 1/2. Sorry, 4.5 by 5.5, and you're going to score it 1/2 inch. Magnet that goes on this side, this way. Let's fold it the other way. So I just keep things in the right order, or man, I'll just be thinking too hard. Okay, making our flap. It's going on the left side of our page. And again, just mitering your corner. Ooh, am I in here? There we are. Okay, and we're gonna glue this down, making sure our page is the right direction, and gluing it to, now this flap is the same length as your page. So we're just making sure the measure, or the centering is right on that. So lining this up, top to bottom, and then bringing it to the edge of the page. Not quite on top of that fold from your pocket on the other side. Just making sure everything is lined up and not hanging over. And it's good. Then you glue it down. Okay. There we are. So the mat for the outside of your flap, I've already matted. So the white mat is 3 7/8 by 5 3/8, and the pattern paper is 3 3/4 why by 5 1/4. Oh, because I made this flap a different size. That's, well, that'll work. That's why. Yep, 3 3/4. So I just cut down my cut apart to fit this mat. So we're just making a different size flap. And then I already added the tab, so you didn't have to watch me do that again. And now we can glue this down. Just watching my glue line here. Stick that pin in the glue. Head in the camera. It was in the first video. I think it was in there once for sure. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Now we add our magnet. You know the drill. Pick this backing off. That wasn't so bad. And this. I'm getting it. I'm getting it. And then it sticks to my finger. Okay, so then we close that and just press it. Score tape on the magnets. you guys, in my part 1 video, when I was going through the tutorial, I told you that our weather was horrible here for the last couple of days. We were in a winter storm warning, and it snowed and the wind was blowing and it was awful. Cold. It's cold here in Minnesota. But today the sun is out. The wind has quit blowing. I think I'm right out by the window. It doesn't look like it's howling to me. I haven't been outside. And yeah, it's way better. I'm tired of all this wind. Okay, so the mat for the inside of your flap is the same as the outside. The white mat is 3 7/8 by 5 3/8, and then your piece of pattern paper is 3 1/4. I'm sorry, I say that wrong. 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. Ooh, and let's make sure this is facing the right direction. It's got to go this way. Good thing I looked. Pay attention. Something's on there. Something is on here. What is it? I don't know. Paper. Gluing is the boring part. I know. Well, let's move that over. There we go. Move it over. Come on now. Behave. It's getting too close to my fold. Got nervous for a second, you guys, because I saw this other paper over here. Like, what's this for? Uh-oh. Oh, scared me. I thought I was doing it wrong, but I'm not. This is the mats for the inside. So it's going to look like this. I'm just going to fold this hinge down so I can work with this. Okay, so the pocket. It's just a 2-inch pocket. 2 by 5 3/8. So just a piece of solid cardstock. I didn't do the gussets on a lot of these pockets just to save some time. So 2 by 5 3/8, and then the white mat is 1 7/8 by 5 1/4, and the pattern paper is 1 3/4 by 5 1/8. And then the white mat for the page matting, like this, the white mat is 4 by 5 3/8, and the pattern paper is 3 7/8 by 5 1/4. 3 7/8 by 5 1/4. Now in my first video I showed you that we don't have to go down all the way with our pattern paper when we use a pocket, because it's going to cover it up. So you don't have to go all the way down the page, and then we can save our pattern paper. That's why I do that. Oop, don't forget that. Making sure that's the right way. Oh, I've had this. Did you see that? I just about dropped my paper. Woo, I've done that before. Messy. Okay, so we're just matting the inside. in between these score lines, one from your flap and one for your hinge. There's a magnet in here somewhere. And then we're going to glue our pocket to the bottom of the page. So your pocket, the solid cardstock actually is the same length as your white mat for your page. So we're just lining those up when we glue. Be careful, because I just about got crazy and was gonna glue this whole thing down. Oh, that would have been bad. So gluing on 3 sides, because we just said it's a pocket. Don't glue the whole thing. So just lining it up with the white, and then all to the bottom of the page, just about, and then gluing those down really well. So these need a really good burnish because you're fighting with the paper underneath to give the get a good catch. See, and we might have to do just a pinch again. Pinch, squeeze it, and it sticks. Use your fingers. Get that glue stuck down really good. Okay, there we have it. That was page 8. Okay. Page 9 is another page that we're going to make, and it's going to mirror. It's going to mirror each other closely. So it's going to be the page and then a flap and a pocket, just like this side, only we're just using a 3x4 cut apart as our flap this time. So just grabbing all of the stuff. And let's see here without getting too messy. Okay, so your page is just going to be a standard page. A piece of solid cardstock that measures 6 by 5.5, and then you're going to score at 1/2 inch to make your hinge. And then we're just folding on the score line. And because we have a magnet and a flap, we're going to do our flap first. So get these pieces. So this flap is going to attach to the right side of your page this time. So the flap measures 3 3/4 by 4 1/4, and then you're going to score at 1/2 inch to attach it. And miter your corners before you glue it down. And there's the X for your magnet, so don't forget. And again, we're just going to center top to bottom. I'm going to turn this, I think, and glue it that way. So glue down your flap first before you put your inside mats down. And without getting out of frame, I just need to see to center here. And it's almost to the edge of the page, not quite. There we go. Okay, and then again, the mat with the tab, I used a 3x4 cut apart. The white mat is 3 1/8 by 4 1/8, and then either a 3x4 cut apart or a 3x4 piece of pattern paper. And make sure we get this the right way too. I'm gonna put a bigger sheet of white under here so I can see the edge of my paper. It's hard to see sometimes with the darker paper, dark on dark. Well, white on white too, I guess. And then just gluing this on. It's a little farther down than I wanted it to be, but that's okay. That out of the way. Okay, and then before we mat the inside and the back side of the flap, guess what it is? A magnet. There's a lot of magnets in here. I didn't even count. I have lots of magnets though. I always, when I'm like making an order for scrapbook paper or something, I like to order magnets. Not every time, but I make sure I have them. Because all of a sudden you get down to your last one in your pack and you say, uh-oh, do I have any more? I just did that the other day. Okay, so then pressing that magnet down. Score tape. Okay. And it doesn't matter which side you mat first. We're just going to do the other side of the flap. So the white mat is the same as the front. 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. And then 3x4 for the pattern paper. That score tape under there is sticky too, so before it grabs my paper, there we go. And then, oh yeah, we're making a pocket. Oh, that's for the other side. You guys, I keep getting so nervous that I'm doing something wrong because I have all this extra stuff and I don't want to be wrong. Okay, so this is the mat and the pocket for the inside of this page. So the mat, the white mat is 4 by 5 3/8. and the pattern paper is 3 7/8 by 5 1/4. So let's put that down. I'm not sure how far into this tutorial we'll get today. I'm trying to like not, you know, really mess around, but there's a lot of little thises and that's that you have to talk about. Otherwise, what's the point? So if it gets too long, I'll stop again and see. I'll see where we're at here in a little bit. Okay, and then the pocket is 2 inches by 5 3/8, the solid cardstock. The white mat is 1 7/8 by 5 1/4, and the pattern paper is 1 3/4 by 5 1/8. Okay, so again, this is gonna just go like this, just like the other page that we just did. Again, we're making a pocket. So only glue on 3 sides. Oh yeah, make sure your paper's the right way if it's directional. I'm gonna give this a little bit because it likes to not stick in those edges very good sometimes. So we're just gluing this down. Again, the pocket is going to be right to the edge of your white mat, and then just about to the bottom of the page. So let's give that a good burnish to grab that glue in with those extra papers. I got some coming out, but we'll fix it. And then the pinch, do the pinch. Pinch it. And then there's some glue there, but that'll dry. Making sure the bottom is good. And the sides. Ta-da! Okay, page 10. This is the last page that we're making, and then we get to the back cover. So this is a simple one. What do we do here? I'll show you. Page 10 is just a regular 5 1/2 by 5 1/2 page, and then it's going to be matted, and we're just adding a pocket. We don't have the extra like we did before. We're just adding a pocket to this side instead because we don't have any pockets on this side, so we'll do that on this page. So just a mat and a pocket. So make sure, I'm just moving this hinge again. And there's that glitter. That's all over my table. So we're gonna make sure and glue it towards the right side, the hinge side this time. So the white mat is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and then your pattern paper is 4 by 5 1/4, or you can do the 4 by 4 cut apart like I have been doing. I think it's kind of cool. Just whatever cute little cut aparts that come in the collection, and then just use like a, well, all the papers seem to match and coordinate, so whatever matchy paper goes with it works just fine. And it's something different. So I'm just gluing this down. There's your hinge, so we're staying away from that. And then the pocket is a 2-inch pocket, so 2 by 5.5. The white mat is 1 7/8 by 5 3/8. And then the pattern paper is 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. And then we're just gonna glue that pocket like this side. So again, only 3 sides, and this time our paper isn't directional. It can go either way. So we don't have to worry about upside down. So I'm just turning this page so I can see. And then this pocket is, did I say 5.5? Yeah, it's the same length as your page. So you're just getting that right on your page and to the edge here. And then really gluing that down. Press it down good. I'm going to use my squeeze it method again. Get that glue on my hands. And there we go. Page 10. Finished. Okay, where are we at? Ooh, we're at an hour again, you guys. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Should we do the back cover just to be done? And then we'll do the spine in a different video. Oh, sorry. Okay, so the back cover looks like this. There's a flap made with the cut apart, and then it's just 2 photo mats inside with a magnet closure. This is a tag that I talked about in my first tutorial, how to make those with the Heartfelt Creations tag dies from Country Craft Creations. So I already created the tag for this one, and so let's just quickly get into the back cover part so we can keep going. Okay, so on the back cover, it's my choice. You can do whatever you need to. I chose to cover the entire back, depending on what I'm doing, I guess. But for this method with this flap and such, I just wanted the entire thing covered up. So if you're going to cover the entire inside of the back cover, the white mat is 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. And the pattern paper is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. Okay, so to make your flap, come on, sorry here. Here's our flap. You need a piece of solid cardstock that's 8.5 by 5 3/4, and you're going to score it at 4 1/4. Okay, and then that's going to attach on your page like so. Okay. But first, before we do that, I'm going to move this out of the way so we have room to work. I used a cut apart again. I wanted to use this cut apart from the collection because I thought it was adorable, and then it gives you a place to write things on here too. So that's what I used. The other are so the dimensions for the flap mats are the white mats, 5 5/8 by 4 1/8. And when you're cutting these, cut 3 of them because you're going to need 2 more for the inside of this photo mat. Okay, so cut 3 of these at 5 5/8 and 4 1/8. Then the pattern paper for the outside flap is 5.5 by 4. And I did, if you have this paper collection and you start cutting these apart, it's 4 by 6, so you have to cut the side. I cut the sides down. I didn't cut the top. Okay, so that's our mat. We are going to be adding a magnet in here, so I have the X inside so I don't forget. So let's get going on the flap. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, here I'm trying to be fast, and I'm not fast because I keep pushing or forgetting to put my pin in my glue, and then it gets stuck. Sorry. Okay. Oh, I have paper stuck to me. There. Okay, it's matting that. I am sorry this is so long. Oh, I feel bad. Okay, magnets. Before we add our photo mats in the inside. So like right about there is fine. And just closing that up. Oopsie, sorry, I was out of frame. Open that up. Okay. Where are you? Score tape. The end. One here. And one here. Okay, so now these are just the white photo mats. Remember we cut 3 white mats, 5 5/8 by 4 1/8. So these extra 2 are what goes in the inside here. And girl, I like to dry fit and I don't before I take that sticky off. Yeah. So again, when you're using white paper, you know how we get the squigglies? I said this in the first tutorial, part 1. Just do the outside. Glue the outside. That's a trick from Tiffany from Let's Get Scrappy. I like her tricks. If you haven't checked out her channel, you guys, she's amazing. She does so many things. I call her the folio queen. She does all these folios and they're so cute all the time. I've gotten a lot of great ideas from Tiffany at Let's Get Scrappy. Okay, and then where that magnet is, just a little burnish for that paper. Excuse me. Okay, one more. Trying to be so careful. Because the glue runs. And down it goes. And the magnet right there. Okay, we have our flap. That's also going to serve as a pocket for our tag. So on the cover, the back cover, this is getting glued down on 3 sides, and I didn't do a tab on this one because I wanted enough room for this tag to slide down in here all the way, because so if you made it a pocket, you know, the higher it goes, and it would stick out too far. So I wanted this all the way to the bottom. So we're gonna glue this on 3 sides. What is the best way to hang on to this? I don't know, maybe that way. Carefully with the glue, girl. Put the pin in it. Oh, sometimes I can't even see. Okay. So I'm just going, where are we at here? And I'm lining it up with the bottom and with the edge of your pattern paper. And it's going to give you a nice, clean look that way. Okay, so I'm just pressing that good, and I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to burnish this down. Get that glue in there well to make our pocket. There's our pocket with our flap and the magnet. Super cute. And then you can make your own tag to go inside of this pocket here too. You don't have to have this die, but I love it. So I made one, and then I just put white mat on the back, and that slides down in there. See, and then with your pocket towards the bottom of your page all the way, then your tag only hangs out the top, just that little bit, and that doesn't matter at all. Okay, so there we go. If you want to prepare your piece for the spine for the next time, because I have to quit here, it's really long. So your spine mat, I decided to double mat mine. So the white mat is 2 3/8 by 5 7/8, and the pattern paper is 2 1/4 by 5 3/4. Okay. And then the next video, I'll show how to glue the pages in and how to do all that with all the pages that we just made. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. Thank you for being patient while I am learning how to record tutorials. This is only this is my 3rd one now. So I appreciate that. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll be back with a part 3.